And we have here the Walther P38. We'll go ahead and take a look at some of the controls and features and then the basic field strip procedures for the firearm. So first, before you work on any firearm, you want to make sure it is free and clear of all ammunition. Now the magazine release on the P38 is a heel release. It's right here. So you'd want to first, we'll go ahead and release the magazine. As we can see, the magazine is free and clear. Then we'll go ahead and pull the slide back. And you can see the chamber area is also clear. So we're free to start looking at the controls of the Walther P38. We'll start here. This is the disassembly lever. That's the lever that's used to disassemble the firearm. This is the trigger here. It is a double single action trigger. What that means is when the hammer is in the uncocked position, when you pull the trigger back, it will cock the hammer and then release it to fire at the furthermost travel back. The firearm, when it fires, the slide will come back and cock the hammer for the next shot, and that will pull the trigger back to the single action position. Likewise, if you cock the hammer back manually, the trigger will go back to the single action position as well. Then it just takes the short trigger pull to release the hammer to fire the weapon. We have a lanyard loop right here on the frame. As again, there's the heel release. This is the safety selector. It is listed, there's an F there for fire right now. If you push it down, that would be safe, S for safe. We have our rear sight here. It is drift adjustable for windage. And we have our front sight. The front sights on these is also removable as well, so you can replace the sight blades with taller or shorter ones to account for drop to help zero the firearm. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the basic disassembly. Well, first I forgot something here. We have the slide lock here. Now the magazine has the little shelf section there, which on the last round will engage that on the inside and push it up to lock the slide. So just would push up like that, and then that would lock the slide. It can also be done manually, just like I did there. And then to release it, you could either just pull back on the slide, and that will release it, or you can pull it down. So as far as the disassembly, first we'll go ahead, let me release the hammer here. You do need to push back on the barrel and slide assembly just slightly, and then you can rotate that lever down. Once it's down, then the slide will just come off the top. So we'll take a look at the frame first. Now the P38 uses dual recoil springs. They're right here. There's one on this side, right through here, and there's one on this side right here. Now those can be removed. You simply just push in on the spring, kind of lift out slightly, and then slide it forward. They go into little channels right there. There's a little guide rod section there, and it locks into recesses on the slide. No reason to remove those unless you need to replace them or it's really dirty. You have our fire control system here. Now this is our ejector right here. It is a pivoting ejector, so it will only be held up when the magazine is in place. We have our disconnectors and everything here to keep it as a semi-automatic. And that's pretty much it as far as this is as far as you'd want to disassemble it. You can get access to everything here to clean it, everything, give it a light coating of oil for operation, lubrication, and corrosion prevention. If you would need to remove those recoil springs for any reason, like I said, you would simply just push back, and then you could lift up slightly. And that's what you want to look out for.
A few moments later.
They are under quite a bit of spring tension. And then you can just slide them out. Same thing on this side. See if I can not launch this one across the room. Just like that. To replace them, you'd simply slide it into the channel, and they just lock in right here there's a little ledge. So you would just push it in, push down, and they hold it in place. So one thing to keep in mind, so if you get this disassembled when you're field stripping it, if you should happen to drop this, those springs could go flying, and not the end of the world. However, the little guide rod sections can be easily lost. So just want to be careful with that. Now on the slide itself, this is our locking piece here. Now in operation, there's a little plunger right here. When the firearm fires, it would push this whole assembly back, the barrel and the slide, back just slightly. This little plunger would hit the frame right here, and basically that just lifts it up. See if you can see it here. That lifts up, and once that lifts up, that's what unlocks it. So when that's pushed down, it's locked together, lift up, and it can just slide back and forth. And that's how you would remove the slide. You can just, from the barrel, just slide it off like that. At this point, you can get access to everything in the barrel. You can clean the barrel inside and out. And that's really as far as you need to disassemble this. This locking piece here, it can lift out just like that. There is a spring right here, which keeps spring tension on it. So to put it back in place, you would simply put it in position and then just push and then down into place. On the slide, this is a firing pin safety right here that is engaged with this little lever right there. When you cock the firearm, when it's ready to fire, that lifts this up, which will push. Yeah, you can kind of see it better there. It lifts up, and that will push in on this, and once that's pushed in, it allows the firing pin to go forward to fire to fire it off. Now, this is a loaded chamber indicator right here, this long piece that sticks out. See if you can get it where you can see that. Yeah. Right there. And when you push in and out on that, when the cartridge is in there, it would push in on that pin, and it would make this section in the back here come out, and that's your loaded chamber indicator. So when you're loaded, that would stick out like that. We have an external extractor right here. And this is as far as you really want to disassemble this. Any further disassembly involves driving out pins and removing the slide to get access to the pin that holds the firing pin and everything in. That's best left to a qualified gunsmith. And so at this point, reassembly, you want to make sure the locking piece allows the slide egress there, so it should be not like that. So, worst case, just push the plunger in, you're good to go. Align these sections here with the corresponding grooves in the slide. Just like that. And then slide it back. And then you can push down on that, and that locks it all in place. At this point, you would align the slide rails with the rails on the frame, just like so. And pull it back. You will need to pull it back slightly to be able to pivot that lock back up, and you are reassembled. Do a quick function check, and that's it.